Good morning. This is Carla coming to you from Eaton, Colorado today. This kind of overcast, kind of shiny. I can't call it partly sunny because it's not really. Maybe some God rays coming down here and there, which is kind of appropriate for Sunday. I mean, I like it. Um, I have quite a list of stuff to go over today. I was going to do Floss Tube last Sunday as it was my every other Sunday rotation, but I've been so busy that I just said I'm just going to skip it, and that kind of puts me on a nice rotation to the end of the year because December 31st falls on a Sunday, so that's kind of cool, I think. So I'm going to start with finishes because I have a few. And the first two that are really important to me. Last Floss Tube, I showed you my first place prize for the Stitching Pirates Words of Wisdom contest, and that one came out super cute. And then during this 3 weeks since my last video, I came out with the second place prize, which is this pretty little bag right here. And again, these bags that I'm showing you now were made by my friend Leah. And so we have the biscornu. And the patterns for these were created by my friend Magical, or as many of you know her from the Weavers Tapestry Sampler Band group on Facebook as Galdress to Fear. She created the patterns to match the bags, and I just matched the floss colors to the bag, so everything kind of matches, matchy, you know. So we have the biscornu, of course, and the little needle book. Get that up there closer. So let me open up the needle book because I don't think I've done this before. So I put this little rope to rope on there, and inside you'll find two John James size 26. Okay, it's John James size 26, and it's funny because I never thought I would be low on these because a couple years ago I ended up ordering, must have been 20 of these because I was getting into larger and larger pieces, and I wanted to make sure that I had needles for prizes and needles for me, and so when I make these cute little needle books, I always put 2 needles in there, and you know, in the little thing. And now that I've kind of figured out a really simple little needle book that I'll hold up for you. Fingers not working. There we go. I love the buttons. I think this is so adorable. But there it is. And this pattern is like, so we have the straight pattern, right? And then we have the pattern that's like a little off, which I kind of think is fun and perfect for a needle book because it makes it a little different. And then of course the scissors and the scissor cover that I came up with, because for these the scissors are pointy and they're very sharp, and nobody wants to reach into anything and get stabbed to death. Well, it wouldn't be to death, but you know, it's just safety. So for safety, I did that, and it all matches and goes in the little bag. And then of course inside the bag you will find the Stitching Pirates needle minder, which Jody over at Unconventional Cross Stitch is in the process of coming up with some new templates, because these ones, I'm sure you can see that, it's the domed top, and as fun as that can be, needles have a tendency to spin around on the top, so people are tucking their needle underneath to attach to the magnet instead of putting it on top where it could be flat. So we have some ideas for some flat ones because she's not going to do the domed anymore. And that works for me. So we're going to have a few options for the new official Stitching Pirate needle minders. So, so for those of you who have the original and are, as Stephanie puts it, official Stitching Pirate, you know, when you have one, you know you're in, right? That's something to look forward to. So I'm kind of excited to see the templates, and the girls and I will make a decision on which one it's going to be, or maybe take a poll. I don't know. And then the third place one I finished, and you've probably seen these on Instagram or Stitching George Washington's 2-week challenges, that sort of thing, because I'm in those as well. But for this one, we have kind of a, I want to say it's kind of like a Hawaiian fabric, maybe. Little tropical flowers, but Magical had come up with that. Isn't that beautiful? And I stitched this one on 28 count Lugana. All the fabrics I used for the Biscornu needle minder and scissor holder is on a 28 count Lugana, because that seems to be my go-to fabric. Used to be a linen snob, but I'm finding that I really love Lugana. The rayon and cotton combination that creates these fabrics it makes it really soft, and I like stitching with soft things. If I could afford to, I would stitch with silk all the time. I'm just saying. Anyway, but this one came out really pretty. Little glare on there. But look at the back stitching on the flowers, and it's like, you see the flowers there, see? Very pretty, very pretty. And then of course, oops, I put the minder inside the book here. Need to take that out right quick. Uh-oh, the magnet's missing from the back. Oh, my friend Dee Dee was looking at them last night. Got a little fray going on here. Here we go. Dang it. Okay, here we go. So this one, the reason the pattern is this way is because inside the bag, and you know, if there's an interesting fabric inside the bag, I'm going to try and match that, but you see the kind of leaf pattern inside. So the needle book here with the two needles inside, I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can. Those match the inside of the bag, as does the cover for the scissors. I'm not sure what happened with the scissor cover on this one, but this is the 3rd place prize for the contest. And of course polka dot, because polka dot. And I love, oh, there's the back side of the needle minder. Right there. That's fun. So I'll just stick this in the bag. There we go, all safe inside the bag. So those are finished, and I can get these put in their little boxes, along with a few extra goodies that I dug up to, just kind of put in as a little extra bonus, and get those shipped off this week. Very pleased for second and third place prizes for the last contest that ended. So that's 2 finishes right there. And then back in February of 2016, I had finished Frosty Forest Snowman's Cabin, which is this guy right here. Love these patterns. Country Cottage Needleworks. And instead of doing, the snowflakes in cross stitch, I use these little pearlescent white beads. You can see that kind of, ooh, that's better. Nice. Yeah, it gives it a little depth because you've got the button here that kind of pops out, so it gives it more of a, textured, which I like, and I've got the whole series, and I think I had mentioned this at the beginning of the year. These frames that are so perfect, they were 50% off, so I bought frames for all of the pieces. And so I finished, because on DeviantArt, Pinky the Pink had a thing. She's AKA Ashley May, Make It Pink on Etsy. She's the one who does the Disney Princess, the Mooka Disney Princess. And this one is kind of lumpy still. I need to fix that. But here it is. And this is a Bluebird Cabin. Now, there's supposed to be an owl button right here. And I think by now, if you're a regular watcher, you know there will be no owls. And of course, the beads for the buttons. And for the life of me, I could not get that white floss to lay down straight in certain areas, but it's not bothering me as much as it was. But you could see it just, but there's not supposed to be any red on the wreath, but I went, I don't know if you can get, there we go. I put 4 teeny weeny little red beads on there just to give it a little, since I wasn't going to put that stupid owl right there. So some of you are probably big fans of owls, and I say yay for you because they are a beautiful bird. There are some really fun owl patterns out there. I don't disagree with you at all. I just have an aversion to owls, and every time I think about it really hard, it kind of makes me nauseous. But anyway, so there's that. And now that we're into the holidays, so when you're planning things out, your stitching timeline, I know that I can complete this much in this amount of time and be okay. Well, I had it all planned out, and then for me, Thanksgiving wasn't going to be like a big show or anything like that. It was going to be just my son and I. And then his roommates weren't going anywhere, so then it was me and the boys. And then Wednesday, of course, the day before Thanksgiving, my lifetime BFF Dee Dee sends me a message saying, hey, we're going to be in Cheyenne. so we're going to stop by your house and eat all your food. And I'm like, I'm down with that. So what a wonderful blessing to have everybody all together. And yeah, I made a lot of food that day. But I think it wasn't the food, it was just the company and having, a bunch of people that I actually love in my house. I mean, it was just a happy day. Just happy. I'm so grateful. So happy. And, that took away a bunch of stitching time. And for this guy right here, I would not have stitched this one on the 28 count doubloon and would not have found just how pretty that fabric was, this right here. Because I had actually started this on some, I believe it was a Silk Weaver Solo Edition. It was a sparkly pink even weave and a really pretty fabric that I had originally gotten to make a pink biscornu for someone. And it was sitting on the counter and I went to push it back because I thought I would have time during the day at some point to do a little stitching because I'm trying frantically to get things done, right? Well, there was a Pinot Noir incident, and let me get this. You guys have to see this. It's actually kind of cool what happened. Okay. So here it is. And do you see the modeling on there? All that modeling? It wasn't like that. It was this really pretty light pink sparkly fabric, right? So all this really pretty over-dyed modeling came from the Pinot Noir. So this is a pretty piece of fabric now. I mean, it was pretty before. I'm not a big fan of pink, but I really like that. Hand dyed by wine. Woo! Who thought of that? Well, I wasn't going to finish, even though I'm kind of tempted to now, but I'm just going to cut the top off and use the rest for a different biscornu that's more appropriate for this fabric. But after washing it and everything so it doesn't stink like wine, yeah, you get a package in the mail that stinks like Pinot Noir, That's rude. Anyway, but yeah, I really like the way that it turned out, and it didn't really ruin anything. It just kind of gave me a lovely scrap piece of linen, kind of like a tester, you know. So there's that. So I had to start over with the doubloon, and I'm really glad that I did because that's really pretty fabric, which brings me to, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. So for current whips, I started working on the December 2016 page of Fire and Ember Stitch Along. And isn't that funny? My Christmas needle minder is bigger than the project itself. But I'm about a third of the way done with the page. The page starts right at the top of this empty spot right here. So that's that, and it's gonna end right about here where my finger is. So I still need to finish that, but now that all this rushing around and stuff is done, I can actually have this as my focus piece for the rest of the year. So that's good. Oh. And I changed my Thordak needle minder to this guy right here. He's huge. But how festive is that? And my little snowman. Yeah, he's pretty. Yeah, so I can continue on working on that. So there's that. Put you right there. That'll be nice. So the other whip that I'm working on is for the on Stitching Pirates at the end of the year. I think we skipped last year. We did. We skipped last year, but usually we have the annual end of the year Ornament / Biscornu Exchange, and you could do something seasonal or just do something. And this year, instead of doing a holiday piece, what is with all the fuzzies on everything? My stuff is fuzzy. I don't necessarily want to do something that's holiday-ish, even though I have in the past. One year I took a Teresa Wensler ornament pattern and turned it into a beautiful Biscornu. And where did I do? I did something similar. I did do this. I did this pattern and made it into a Biscornu for the last exchange, which was the year before last. And this year I'm doing this. It's going to be a Biscornu, but it's more seasonal, I guess you could say. But this pattern is a free pattern by Amanda Gregory, and you can find it on her blog, and I'll put the link below because, oh my gosh, look at that. Is that the cutest? Oh, so adorable. I love snowmen. I love snowmen. Just pointing that out, a little bling. But yeah, and then of course my little. So yeah, this one. And the girls did the Secret Santa drawing, so I know who's getting this. Which, you know, regardless who's getting it, it's just so fun. And this one comes with, because it's a free pattern, I'm going to show the pattern, but it comes with a bookmark. And I know it's really big, but I have to make my patterns a little bigger so that I can see it, because I'm blind. But, oh my gosh. And then to have a bookmark that goes with it. So awesome. I just love it. Yeah, when I saw that, I just went, oh, yeah, I've got to do that one. And instead of doing the holly berries in cross stitch and the eyes in cross stitch, I changed those for beads, you know, because you got to have a little bling on there, just a teensy bit. So there's that. And then, and for those of you wondering about my floss pads that I've shown you, and I've had some messages and stuff, I had, during the last 3 weeks, I had thought that I would have time to make up some and put them in my Etsy store for you, and I do apologize. I have had no time. It's the holiday season, and it's like busy time. So busy. Always running off, doing stuff. My son just changed his job, so there was a bunch of running around for that. I had to go and get some floss. I was running out of floss. And, you know, I live in a really small town, so I have to go to one of the bigger towns close by, like Fort Collins or Greeley or what have you, and go hunt down whatever it is that I need. And sometimes I end up having to go to more than one store because one store will be out of whatever it is, and then I have to go to the other one. It's just not like an easy trip to just go get whatever. And it takes a while to drive there, so I think the shortest drive is like 20 minutes. And then, of course, you get there, you gotta park, you gotta walk all the way in, you gotta walk all the way to the back. Why do they put floss at the back of the store? They do this at Michael's, they do it at Joann's, they do it at Hobby Lobby, um, even Walmart, the craft section's all the way in the back. And not that I would go there for DMC anymore because I have a picture somewhere. I don't think I'm going to share it because I think a lot of you know what I mean. But I went into a Walmart that's right after Timnath, right before you get to Fort Collins. And I couldn't find the DMC because it's like this big little section of, I don't know, whatever. It made me sad. I had to take a picture of it. If I find the picture, I'll just stick it in right here. Okay, so upcoming issues, stuff's going on. When we first came upon the Ornament Exchange and decided to do it for this year, all of a sudden, I thought that I would do the Lizzie Kate Jingle All the Way because I've had this for a while, and I thought this would be a good time to do it. And then as I started looking at it, I was thinking, I don't want to give that away. And I see so many people with their decorative dough bowls or their big, beautiful handmade wooden bowls. I have, and laugh if you will, but I have this, and this is a kind of a decorative wire basket that has my hair attached to it, that I put these old linen napkins in because, you know, look at that, pretty. And I put my ornaments in here, hold them. See this right here? This is what I got from the Ornament Exchange. Glorious. Is this not beautiful? This is one. I have to show you the other one. So when we do ornament exchanges, you can't go wrong because whatever you get is going to be made from the heart, and it's always just gorgeous. And then let's see, the first one that we ever did, I got this pretty thing, and this was made by Magical, aka Galdris Stafir from the Weaver's Tapestry Band Sampler Sal. But yeah, Stitching Pirates, Secret Santa, 2014. That was the very first year that we had done it. And I got this. Isn't that beautiful? And, you know, I know it's all like really simple stitching and stuff, but you change those threads and you end up with something very elegant, you know. Not eloquent, elegant. There we go. I can speak English sometimes. So I'll just put that in there. So my tiny home doesn't allow for, you know, big displays or anything. So you can see behind me, it's my little holiday nook. I cleared off the desk and, you know, when I downsized, I kept things like the things my kids had made or things that people have made for me, like my robins up here, ornaments my kids had made like that, and my snowman and my Santa collection, you know, things like that. And this tree, I've had this tree for 25 years. I bought this when I was pregnant with my daughter because I wanted a little tree, and you know, so now I have my little wire basket and I put my ornaments in there. So there are fun things you can do in your little tiny home. And so I'm going to make this at some point and put this in my little basket as well. Okay, so there's that. And I always like to end the year with Teresa Wentzler. So one of the ongoing whips that I've had for a couple of years now is the 12 Days of Christmas. So I thought for this year I would finish the second day. I mean, it's almost done, as you can see. I just have to fill in the center part right here, which will be too easy. It'll be a nice, wonderful Teresa Wentzler finish for my year. And I love that that's become a thing for me. Every year I finish the year with a Teresa Wentzler because in my mind, that's ending the year with a bang. Thumbs up on that. So I will probably start working on that right after Christmas. And of course, because I had the Jingle All the Way pattern out, I got to thinking, I have the Four Seasons, the little flippets by Lizzie Kate. And I thought, first day of winter, I'm going to stitch this up. And because the doubloon is so darn pretty, and I have this big piece left over, as you can see. Look at that. Oops. Ta-da! I'm going to go ahead and stitch my Lizzie Kate Seasons on this. So on the first day of winter, I'm going to stitch winter. And it shows a picture on the back of all four seasons together. So I am going to stitch them all in a row. But instead of starting with spring, I'm going to start with winter because that's the first one I'm stitching. So then it'll be winter, spring, summer, autumn. And I have the frame that you can download from the Lizzie Kate website. It says, yeah, LizzieKate.com. And I'll probably do that or create some kind of outer border myself. But I really love the saying, to everything there is a season. And I actually have a cross-stitch piece that I had done probably, I want to say 28 years ago-ish, give or take a year. I'd gotten the pattern from one of the magazines. I believe it was a Leisure Arts magazine, and it was To Everything There Is a Season. And it's just it looks like a quilt square. And if I can find it again, I just came across it the other day. But if I find it again, I'll share that at some point. But I really like the saying, and it is true. To everything there is a season, and right now the season is all about fun. Fun and lights and happy joy, hopefully for everyone. And then so the plan is, you know, first day of winter we'll do winter, first day of spring we'll do spring, first day of summer we'll do summer, first day of autumn we'll do autumn, and then they'll be done. So that's the plan for that. I know that seems funny, but to me it makes perfect sense because more than likely I'll be involved with something and I'll be feeling like I need a quick little stitch them up. And these really are quick. I think Bluebird Cabin may have taken 2 days to stitch. So if I start winter on the first day of winter, I'll finish on the second day of winter. And then I found this funny little stitch and hang in my stash. I keep forgetting it's in there, but it's so ridiculous. Look at that. There we go. And it has a little hanger with it, but I'm confident that it's not a bad pattern, but I can make it a little better. Throw some beads on there, maybe some, I don't know, make it cool. Throw that in the mix. And then, dun dun dun, you're gonna love this. Oh gosh. I haven't dug out the flosses yet, but there's two parts to this one. This piece is gonna have a story. It's gonna be wonderful. You're gonna love it. So, talking or watching A Stitch Too Far, Ingeborg was talking about doing the ink circles tapestry, and the pattern I just happened to have because I picked this pattern up when I was in Arizona with Ashley Mae and Mary, because we picked four needle workshops in kind of a circular area, because they were strangely kind of clumped together the way that they were. And so we spent the day visiting, and we got done with three, I believe it. Wait, 1, 2, 3. And you know, when you go to an LNS, you have to spend some time there. And honestly, I think we spent more time at Bee Stitched, which is flosses, and the printed on canvas patterns, which we totally ignored. Those were hanging on the wall. We don't care about that. We wanted the flosses. And it was like an explosion of new flosses, and the way that they're over dyed, and we had not been exposed to these, but to be able to touch them and to think about them and to know for future reference, if we ever wanted to get something like that, we could, so that was just wonderful. So if you're in the Phoenix area and you have time, go to Be Stitched. They have since moved the store, but if you can find their new location, if I can find it, I'll put the link below, because it's just a wonderful little shop, and very elegant, and they do a lot of stitching in the store. If I had just gone in there, bought some floss, and sat down, started stitching, the woman would not be upset. But this one I picked up at Attic Needlework and Collectibles in Mesa. So tapestry. So a stitch too far, and what's the other? Wait, I've got it written down. That would be, oh gosh, I had it written down. Let me find it real quick, because I forget names if I'm not as familiar with you. Maybe I wrote it down here. Oh, as usual, everything's on the floor, falling down. Okay. Off the Grid Stitcher and A Stitch Too Far, and that's their names on Instagram as well. And Off the Grid Stitcher does have a Floss Tube channel, and I'll link A Stitch Too Far and Off the Grid down below as well. But on December 16th, we're all starting this, and the fabric I'm going to use for this is 28 count Lugana Confetti by Picture This Plus, and I liked it because of all the different colors in there, And I think that with the flosses, I'm going to use the Gentle Arts on there so that you can see. I want it to really pop out. And I think with those colors being as rich as they are, they'll pop off this lighter fabric really nicely. So my friend Dee Dee was here yesterday, visiting all day, thereby taking me away from my stitching, which is totally fine because it's Dee Dee. She has permission. I don't care if she shows up right now. I would stop everything. Any of my girls stop by right now, everything stops. I'm just saying, the world stops revolving around the sun, the planets align. It's just really wonderful. But we were talking about the cross stitch and stuff, and she said, and this is so funny because I hadn't shown her this. She says that she would like some kind of tapestry to hang on her wall. And I laughed in her face, and she was shocked for a minute, and I'm like, no, I have a tapestry for you. It's this. And she flipped out. And then when I showed her the fabric that it's going to be stitched on, she got so excited. And she's like, okay. So, yeah. I told her I wasn't sure if I was going to make it into a pillow or she could hang it on the wall. Whatever. When I get to that point, we'll figure it out. It's all good. So this starts on December 16th, and we'll go into the whip rotation at that point. I will probably finish it faster because 1, it's pretty. 2, it's for someone very, very, very dear to me. And I forgot my point. It's just going to stitch up really quickly. And yeah, I'm motivated to finish this one quickly. Even though I have a bunch of whips that are really beautiful and I want to finish them, there is a couple of huge reasons to finish this one up. So I had at first thought, you know what, I could start it, put it in the rotation and get to it, when I get to it. But now that Dee Dee just flipped out, oh my gosh, I love that girl. She flips out like my brother flips out over my stitching. It's funny. They're probably my biggest fans. So I've got that. And then, of course, January 1st, we all remember, I'm going to be starting Mooka's spring. And I want to show you something about this pattern. I don't think I shared it with you last time I showed you the pattern, so let me hold it up there. Look at how beautiful she is. Now you see all this background here. The background is going to be in half stitches or tent stitching, whatever you want to call it. But this isn't going to be full cross stitch, so this is going to go super fast. It's the foreground stuff. And I think this page right here, I'm just going to show you a tiny little section, which I think is perfect. Okay, so you see that? This background half stitch, the foreground with the back stitching is all full stitches with back stitching. Even though it's going to be a larger piece, it's going to go super fast for a 2-foot long piece because of that half stitch situation. So, if you want something pretty, especially in the middle of winter when it's all dark and gloomy outside, get one of these patterns and stitch with me. I would love to have a couple people stitching with me, or a lot of people take your pick. I would just love to see other people stitching along with me, and maybe we could have a little race. Could sweeten the pot with one of these, mayhap. Who knows? You got ideas, I'm open. I'm always open for ideas. I love ideas. And while we're on the subject of Ashley's Muka patterns, I got to show you this. I know it's the holiday season, but a lot of you bake year-round. And for Christmas, last year? Yep, it was last year. Ashley made, these are wonderful. I have to model it for you. Well, let me hold it up first. Ashley asked me, what is my favorite color? And I said, dragon. And knowing that Ashley is a very creative person, I was very curious to find out what she would consider dragon to be. Well, she did amazing. So I'm going to stand up here. This is dragon. Isn't that lovely? Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that's my apron. So if you do a lot of baking, and of course the fabric is that really nice solid cotton, and then you just, give yourself a bow or a knot right there, whatever. And then you have this great, you can't see it, let me get here, this great pocket right here, because, you want to put your hand in a pocket or your dish rag, whatever you put in there. I put paper towels because that's what I do. But yeah, this apron here, isn't that marvelous? Oh my gosh. And the fun part is she offers these in her Etsy store, which I think is wonderful, and I think I may have to get a couple more from her. But yeah, these are very well made. I mean, she's a really good seamstress. So professionally made, but yeah, I mean, if you want, look at that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, if you get on her Etsy store, if you like this one, okay, she has more of this fabric, I believe. But if you get on her store and you tell her, yeah, I want one, but I want that dragon fabric that Carla has, I'm sure she would be thrilled to death to make another one like this. Look at those ruffles. Look at that. Is that not glorious? Dragon! I think it's just so pretty. So pretty. I love that stretchy fabric. But that's dragon fabric. Yeah, so I'll link her store down below. You can go visit her. Because I know you want the pattern, and I know you want an apron. And even if you don't bake that often, how fun would it be to have this glorious, look. Anyway, how fun would it be to have this soft, beautiful, wonderful apron hanging in your kitchen? It's just, oh, it's an icebreaker, that's what it is. Okay, so I'm looking at my list. Okay. Oh yeah, so back to my Etsy store with the floss pads and everything. It's going to take me a little bit to get floss pads made and put into my store, so please bear with me on that one for those of you who are dying and want a floss pad now. I really have to finish my gift exchange here. Ta-da! And get all my stuff mailed out. This week I'm going to start mailing things out, and then I should have more time to make the floss pads and throw them in my store, and then be able to mail them off to you. So that's what's happening there. I'm kind of excited about it all. So did I cover everything? Let me check, because one thing that makes me crazy, like I'm not crazy enough, I spend a lot of time alone, is when I get done with my floss tube and I'll be chatting with the girls or talking to the boys or, stitching along, and then I realize I forgot to talk about blah, blah, blah. I know a few videos back I said I would talk about the crystals and my beads in my bead box, but I'm going to save that for January when everyone needs a bit of sparkle. Maybe even February, because that's the big month. So that's where I'm at on things right now. And looking around, I'm scanning. I had everything piled up and ready to go right here. So yeah, I think I posted it in Stitch Mania that we were starting. Let me open this. And there we go. We're starting this on December 16th. Instagram, hashtag IC Tapestry. I can speak English, I swear. Hashtag IC Tapestry. And we're going to do ink circles. Tapestry. Woo. And it does list DMC-ish colors. So if you don't want to spend the extra money and do the gentle arts, or there is one woman, I found her on Stitch Mania. She was using one over-dyed floss for the entire piece, and it's gorgeous. Oh, and I just remembered the last thing. So she's going to join us. She's already mostly done with her tapestry, but what fun it'll be for her to join us as we begin and she ends. I think she'll be a huge inspiration for us on that one. So, the Weavers Band Tapestry Cell. I always get the name wrong when I speak it, but it's a big long name. Anyway, this is Galdress DeFeer's Weavers group on Facebook. And I had offered up my mailing address here in the US because it is oh so expensive to mail overseas. Well, every year I mail Galdra a package. This year it was kind of sparse. I really didn't have much for her. And when I found out that some people were wanting to send things to her, I put a post in the group saying, just send it to me. I'll throw it in the box. I'm not even going to open it because it's not for me. It's not my mail. I'll just put it in there. And I got a lovely bunch of responses. And I have to shout out to Judy, Kathy, and Janet. You women, you guys are amazing, especially Judy. What can I say? You're a master stitcher. The things that you shared with me are beautiful. That's some old school stitching right there. And I, for one, appreciate the old school, old pattern stitching. And I'm not talking samplers. We're talking like artwork quality, where they didn't mess around with the, oh, how do I describe it? Just, it's glorious is what I can say. But she's been married for 50 years. She's a dog lover. Anyway, amazing, amazing. So, Judy, Kathy, and Janet, you guys rock. You're awesome. I've got one package so far, still waiting for the others, and they will just get chucked in the box, and I'll be mailing the box on Friday. So if any of you are from that group and want to send Gulja something, just IM me on Messenger or here on YouTube, and we'll get in touch, and you can mail it over to me right quick, one time. All right. Yay. What a happy hour to spend with you guys. Thank you. And I hope that your Sunday is beautiful, and I hope that the rest of the next 2 weeks is glorious for you as well as we ramp up for the holiday season. Get your crafting on. I know things just spiral out of control during this time of year, and people feel very stressed. And, I gotta hurry up and get this done. It takes so long, and I should have started earlier. Don't worry about it. Seriously. Slow down. As we say in Alaska, I'm not there anymore, but I've been there so long. Slow down, watch your step, look out for bears. Just enjoy the scenery. Enjoy the people you're with. Whatever you're doing, as far as crafty stuff or thinking you're gonna, not get something done, okay. But enjoy the people that you're with. So I do. Not sorry. Anyway, you all have a good time, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Until then, keep on stitching.